Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Anthropology lecture series. Today we will see Australopithecus and Tong Child. These were questions asked in UPSC Civil Services Mains 2023 examination. So the picture that you see here belongs to Tong Child. This is a recreation of the Tong Child. Initially we got a skull from South Africa and this was recreated as this figure that we see here. So back in 1924, some quarrymen were working in a mine and they stumbled upon a skull. So by seeing the skull, they understood this did not belong to a human, and hence they gave it to an archaeologist called Raymond Dart. So Raymond Dart extensively studied this and concluded this skull did not belong to an ape either. In 1924, he published that this is Australopithecus africanus skull. So it is generally popularly called as Tong Child. Tong is the place in South Africa, from the place where we got the skull from. So coming to the characteristics of this Tong Child, the age is estimated to be around 3 to 4 years, and it lived around 2.8 million years ago. So we calculated the age based on the dental features. From the teeth evidence that we got from the skull, we could calculate the age of the skull. That is, the molar, the front teeth is, the side teeth is called molar, and these molars and milk teeth were just coming out. So which meant the skull belonged to a child. And based on the crown shape and root of the dentition, if this is the teeth, this is called the root. And based on this root length, we could identify what the age of the skull is. So the skull was actually found from a pit, and here you can see a hole. This is a puncture mark made by an eagle. I'll make it more clear. This puncture mark that you see here is made by an eagle. This is what archaeologists concluded, because today in Africa, when eagles attack monkeys, similar punch marks are made. So archaeologists concluded that Tong Child was killed by an eagle. And the area where we found Tong Child's skull, we could find other bones as well. That is, bones of unlikely animals like lizard, tortoise, crab, etc. So there were tiny bones, small baboons' bones were also found near Tong Child's bone. So it was concluded that an eagle had killed a Tong Child. So this is the short life story of our Tong Child, who only lived for 3 years. And now let's see the anatomical features of Tong Child. So the cranial features, initially when Raymond Dart told to other archaeologists, they suggested that this skull is of an ape, because the cranial features and the brain was so small, it resembled an ape. And the cranial capacity was also less. It did not match the human cranial capacity, which is around 1500 cc. When it came to Tong Child, the Australopithecus, the cranial capacity was around 375 cc to 775 cc. These are of different Australopithecus species. This is a range of cranial capacity. So this brain area resembled ape, and the other regions, for instance, the dental part resembled modern humans. And then there was the foramen magnum. Here we have the foramen magnum. This is the hole through which our spinal cord passes. This foramen magnum was placed forward in the anterior position. As we have seen earlier, when foramen magnum is in the anterior position, it means the species will have a bipedalism mode of transportation. The head would be straight and not slanting as we see in apes. So foramen magnum's position and the dental features is what made Raymond Dart say this is a link of humans. This is a missing link between apes and humans. So one unique feature of the dentition is that absence of diastema. So diastema is in fact the hole. This jaw structure belongs to an ape, and this belongs to an Australopithecus. So when it comes to apes, there is a gap here called diastema. So this gap is called diastema. This is found in apes and chimpanzees and in primates. But when it comes to Australopithecus, our Tong Child, and the modern human species, Homo species, there is no diastema. That gap is not present. So similarly, in our Tong Child too, that gap was absent. Hence, Raymond Dart concluded this is much more closer to the human line. So that are the distinguishing features of Australopithecus, our Tong Child. And again, from other bones of Australopithecus, we had found the postcranial features that more similar to humans than apes. Now coming to the general features of Australopithecus, it was Raymond Dart who classified Australopithecus, and then later Robert Broom from Cromdori, he found a skull remain, a fossil remain, and he classified it as Paranthropus, which is again a class of Australopithecus. So Australopithecus is divided into two based on their characteristics. One is the gracile form and the other is the robust form. Our Tong Child belonged to this gracile form, and the Paranthropus fossil that was obtained from Cromdori is classified as robust form. So the difference between gracile and robust findings, fossils, are very minute. For instance, in gracile, the crest is much more smoother. There is no sagittal crest. But here we can see the presence of sagittal crest. Sagittal crest is this projection that we can find in fossil remains of Australopithecus species and early hominid species. Now, other differences are here. A similarity is the protruding brow ridge. The brow ridge is protruding. Similar is the case of our robustus. Brow ridge is protruding in nature. Now, when it comes to mandible, both have strong and thick mandibles. Here, when it comes to jaw, the jaw length is less compared to the jaw length of robustus. Here, the jaw length is more in robustus species. Now, coming to the teeth features, here we can see a slight projection. This is called prognathous nature of dentition. And here the projection is not that visible, it's not that prominent. This is called the orthognathous. So this prognathous is because the canine and the incisor part are larger than the molars. Because of that, this projection comes in the front part. In robustus, it is orthognathous because the molars are larger than the incisors and canines. That is why it is less projected in the front part. So these are the general differences between a gracile and robust fossil remains, that is in the Australopithecus species. So now coming to the sites, these fossil remains were mainly found from South Africa. So various places are Tong Child's Tong is located here. Tong is located here. And then there is the Olduvai Gorge. This is also a place where we got numerous fossil remains. Olduvai Gorge here. Leakeys had conducted their research extensively in this region. Now the other places are Swartkrans, Cromdori, then we have Chard here. So these are some of the locations where Australopithecus fossil remains were found. Now coming to the culture of Australopithecus, Raymond Dart had said they had a osteodontokeratic culture. There is osteodontokeratic culture. Osteo is related to bone. Donto is teeth. Keratic is horn. That is, the tools that they use were made of bones, teeth, and horn. So there is a claim that Australopithecus used these kind of tools to hunt small animals, whereas other group of scholars do say that they were scavengers and did not have the capacity to hunt. So from the Tong Child fossil that we got from an eagle's nest, we can definitely conclude that Australopithecus was more of a prey rather than a predator. So when it came to food, they might have hunted small animals, but largely it is believed that they are scavengers. So that's about Australopithecus and Tong Child. Hope you liked this video. We'll meet again in another video. Bye. Thank you.